What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is White Gamer. Today we're going to be talking about the attribute system and comparing it with the skill tree that we had last year in FC25 and in the previous year. So this was the first year where they gave us full control of our attributes. Last year we had 120 levels, which came with 184 skill points, which doesn't seem like a lot, guys. But last year the skill tree, the way it was set up, 184 seemed like enough, but it wasn't perfect, guys. The skill tree wasn't perfect. So I would say one of the maybe flaws was that you couldn't have a lot of stats in the high 80s to 90s. As you guys can see from this clip that is playing, I think we had around like 6 to 8 stats at 90. And then the rest of the stats, guys, were just like low 80s, high 70. So some people did like that. Some people didn't, because you couldn't really get your pro on the other stats that matter higher because of the amount of points that we had. Another thing about the skill tree is, guys, the pre-selected boost. So the example that I'm showing right now here, I'm on a winger build, right? And we got the crossing to the high 90s or low 90s, I believe. But then the long passing, we couldn't get it that high. And that's a really good thing from this year attribute system, that we can literally focus on any attribute that we want. And you can get pretty much almost all your stats to high 80s to low 90s. If we look at this target build that I have, don't copy it because I was using this at cam. We basically have, let me see, like probably a lot of stats in the 90s, high 80s with points left over. So that's something good about this year's attribute system, that you can literally, if you want to have all your stats in the high 80s, you can, even the ones that don't matter. That was just an example. So, but one of the best things about the skill tree, guys, that we had last year and the previous years is the unlimited resets. As you guys can see from this example, you know, I was just showing you guys, you can reset the skill tree without no issues, which was a really big part of the skill tree in the previous years. Because let's be honest, guys, you know, sometimes when you're making a build, you might mess up, you might forget something, or if you play a specific role in your club, you might need to adjust, you might need to adjust your build. And that brings me to the point of the attribute system this year, guys. Probably the biggest flaw and the most hated thing this year from the attribute system is resetting. Now, it only costs 5,000 coins. So you might say that's not a lot. But once you start resetting your build 5 or more times, it starts to add up, guys. It starts to add up, especially what I just mentioned. Some people might sometimes have to reset their build so they can adjust to the way their teammate play or the position that their club needs. And having to reset every single time adds a lot of coins. I've easily spent over 1 million coins resetting builds. Mostly was for YouTube videos, but sometimes I will mess up, guys, and I have to reset the build, and there goes another 5K. So that's something I'm hoping next year they remove, resetting the builds for free, because that was probably the biggest L from the attribute system, specifically in this year's game compared to last year's game, wherein you can just reset unlimited, and a lot of people like that for those reasons that I mentioned. So that's like my thoughts on the attribute system this year compared to the skill tree. You know, both of them had their trade-offs, but I would say, yeah, the biggest thing was definitely having to spend coins, resetting your build, and remaking it, because it does get pretty annoying. Now, boys and girls, we're gonna go over to the desktop and see what you guys had to say about this. Let's go on full screen. As always, thank you guys so much for voting. So I asked, what do you prefer, the FC25 skill tree or the FC26 attribute system? And I was surprised, guys. I didn't think this many people liked the skill tree. So we had 56% people said they prefer the skill tree, and then we had 46% said they prefer the attribute system, which is what we have this year. So let's go read these comments. One of the most thumbs up is attributes, but I just wish your level didn't reset for every build. Oh, so he means, okay, so he means when you're changing archetypes, you know, your level will be a little bit less, or you have to start from level 1. Okay, that's totally understandable, because it is true. I forgot to mention that last year, you only had you were level 120 for all your builds. So if you switch from striker to winger to cam to goalkeeper CB, you would still be the same level. This year, each archetype has its own specific level. That makes sense. Just let us pick the playstyles. I don't think they're gonna do that no more, guys. So yeah, last year you were allowed to pick your own playstyles, regardless of the skill tree. But this year, I think he meant like the playstyle plus, because this year you can pick any regular playstyle, but I think he meant the playstyle plus. But they're not gonna do that, guys, because now they have this huge umbrella. So you have the archetype system, and then within the archetype system, you have the four playstyle plus that come with it, and then within that you have the attributes that will let you unlock the regular playstyle. So I don't think EA are gonna let us pick our own playstyle plus anymore, just because they saw how the archetype system this year kind of benefit them. As someone who has Maestro and Magician, yeah, if you pick the proper correct archetype system, you're good. FC 26 attributes plus the FC 25 playstyle selection would be perfect. And yeah, this is basically what we're kind of talking about, that in the attribute system, you can pick exactly how you want your attribute value to be. And then in FC 25, you were allowed to pick your own playstyle plus, because the skill tree last year didn't go hand in hand with the playstyle. It didn't go. I hope I'm not wrong, but yeah, the playstyles, the attributes or the skill tree last year didn't really benefit the playstyles. I don't really care. Just bring back the stamina effect. Tired of 6 players going back. Let us save presets for each archetype so we don't have to keep resetting. Yeah, this was another big part of the skill tree, believe it or not, because you would have 5 presets, which is 5 different builds, and you can have those 5 different builds set up differently or in different positions. Also change back to stamina. We are going to make a video talking about some of the features people want in FC 27, and that's definitely one of those. I'll be lying if I said being able to pick the exact attribute isn't better than the skill tree. However, attribute resets can be a waste of time if you're in a hurry. We should be able to reduce attributes without needing to reset the whole thing. As you can see, most people like hate, I think everyone hates having to reset your bill and spending coins. I mean, I don't know who would want that. You guys can't see this comment. Hold on. This one has 10. Hopefully my face cam isn't covering it. It is. This person said, let me zoom in on this one, because this one had like the 3rd most liked. You are tripping for voting for the skill tree. Only thing wrong with Pro Club this year is the playstyles are too OP. Even last year they were overpowered. If they balance them better, where they only improve ability slightly rather than needing playstyle not to be asked, that or just remove them completely without a doubt. Also, levels are taking too long for your liking. So attributes, but wish we could pick the playstyles. So yeah, most of you guys' thoughts and opinion is like, most of you guys do like the attribute system, like picking your own attributes exactly how you want to set up, even though some of them do have a cap, but then allowing for you to pick your own playstyle plus, which, like I said, EA aren't going to do that. They're going to just tie the playstyles to a particular archetype depending on that archetype. But guys, let me know your opinions. Do you like the actual attribute system besides some of the flaws that it has, or do you prefer the skill tree where you couldn't really customize your pro that much when it came to attribute wise, but you had more freedom regarding the playstyles? Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the World Cup that's going on, and I'll catch you guys next time. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe.